Hey guys, we are live. Let me get everything situated here. Get you guys at least a decent angle going on. Alright, that's good enough. Get our lighting good. Alright, so I've already done a little bit of work so far. FMS, Rock Hobby Mashigan, Jurassic Park Edition. If you know anything about this, uh, let's see if that grill is in the shot. Okay, it is. All right, so this is an original 7-slot FMS Rock Hobby Mashigan. They are rare. They got discontinued right after they started making them, and then that's when the version 2 came out after Jeep had their lawsuit issues or whatever, and they don't come with this grill anymore. So you can order this grill as a separate part, but that's just some background information. What we're working on today, I have ordered a leaf spring kit for this. Now, if you know anything about this particular model, it comes with a 4-link suspension system, and the 4-link is better than leaf springs most of the time for steering angle, for flexing, articulation, stuff like that. So I'm curious to see how bad the performance is going to suffer by adding leaf springs. We'll find out. Hopefully it's not too terrible. But I do want this to be a little bit more screen accurate. I did give in to a little bit of peer pressure from you guys telling me I should put leaves on it just to make it more realistic, because YJ's from the factory had leaf springs. Not only are we going to do leaf springs, but we're going to do leaf under axle, because that's how they were from the factory, was leaf under axle. And that'll hopefully give us a close to stock ride height with these. These are 4.1 KL1 BF Goodriches. So it should be fairly close to screen accurate. I don't have the perfect screen accurate rims yet. Those things are like $150. We'll see when I get those. I doubt I'll have those before Beat the Creek, but we'll eventually get the screen accurate rims for these in time. But let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start taking stuff apart. I'm going to show you part numbers just in case you guys don't know how to do the leaf spring kit. I don't know how to do the leaf spring kit either, but it should be self-explanatory for the most part. The parts I ordered didn't come with instructions, but I think we'll manage. I think we'll be fine. I'm going to show you the part numbers. You have to order 2 different kits to do the leaf springs on the Mashigan. All right, you need the rear leaf spring kit. Let's focus. That's the part number for the rear leaf spring kit, C1620. Rear leaf spring kit. All right, that's for the rear. And then for the front, C1619. And that is the front leaf spring kit. Now, this leaf spring kit will work on the FMS Atlas, the Mashigan, and the FJ Cruiser. I think those are the only 3 that this kit will actually bolt onto. There is some pros to doing the leaf spring kit on the Mashigan specifically. We'll go ahead and dive into that because it comes with this huge piece of plastic. Sits on there like so. It has the perches for the leaf springs. Okay, now here's the thing. Those perches on the Mashigan, I don't know if it's the same with the Atlas or the FJ, but these perches are already here on the original. So you don't have to change this piece of plastic. This you don't actually need to put this in there. It's exactly the same part. Now, I don't know if that carries over on the FJ or not, or on the Atlas. I don't know. But we won't have to change that part. We are going to unbolt all the links here in just a second. We got all the parts we need, the U-bolts, all that stuff. I think what we're going to do the rear first, because I think the rear has a little bit more work involved in it. So we're going to keep everything in the bag. Try not to mix anything up. But let's go ahead and get started. I'll periodically look back to check on comments and stuff. But first thing we need to do, I need my drill. There we go. All right. We need a 2mm. Let's start with the shocks. All right. Get that done. Sheesh, that was a long screw. I'm going to try and put all my hardware in this little magnet tray just to kind of keep it together. These little shocks, I painted these, and it actually stiffened up the springs a little bit, which is nice. So if you're wanting to keep your original shocks and stiffen things up a bit, I'm probably going to... I'll probably take the springs off of these and bolt them back on as a shock dampener for the leaves. That's probably what I'm going to do. Probably. We'll see. Like I said, I haven't watched a whole lot of videos, but, you know, I've worked on plenty of one-to-ones to know how to install leaf springs and whatnot, so we're just going to kind of wing it. And we'll see how far we get. How do we... Oh, did we already hit a snag? Is it my exhaust? I think it is. Can I reach that? My exhaust is in the way of one of these parts, I think. Oh, no, I think it's the frame. All right, so we'll leave that in there until we get the axle completely off. That's fine. We're going to have to unbolt this frame a little bit anyway, which is fine. I'm planning on repainting this at least a little bit. Get those off. Get that shock. Shouldn't be too terrible of a job, I'm hoping. There's a lot of parts, but I don't think it's going to be that bad. There we go. All right, now use our little T-wrench over here. Come out? No. There we go. All right, axle is free. I'll just set that off to the side. I'm probably gonna go ahead and put the perches in. I got some new links to use for a new project down the road. We'll see what we can come up with that later. For the rear, you have to change out 2 pieces of plastic in between the frame. So let's get this going. All right, we got our leaves, parts, more parts. Oh, they do include the hardware, which is really nice. Not a lot of Not a lot of upgrades like this, if you want to call it an upgrade, don't necessarily come with hardware most of the time. Okay, so we have the rear perch. It's literally this same piece, just with this piece added. So that goes there. And then the same thing for this over here. Just has that perch added to that piece of plastic. So that's going to go there, like that. And that will be the frame done, and then we can put the leaves with the U-bolts bolted to the axle. All right, so let's get started on that. Okay. Now, we're gonna have to take off the bumper. There we go. Bumper should slide out, hopefully. Not if you don't unscrew it all the way. There we go. Ta-da! All right, how about now? Ah, look at there, so much easier. So I did paint this bumper. This bumper was actually black from the factory. It was this color black, but I painted it all rusty and everything, and then I put some substrate on the top of it, and then just different areas, and then painted it black again, so that as I drive on the trail and stuff and start scraping in different places, it will do the chipping method and slowly rust away this bumper. So cool little tidbit of information there. All right, we're going to unbolt this rear piece of plastic, and then we're going to do that piece of plastic, which we're going to have to undo my little makeshift exhaust to make that work, which is fine. We can just put that back later. Whoops, there goes the screw. Trying to get it to where you guys can see me all the way. There we go. We got T-Rexes in the background as motivation. Get all of these. I don't know how much of this hardware in this pouch is the hardware that I already have, so I'm just going to try and keep it separated until I need it. And then we need this part. So all the screws from the back of the frame up to this screw have to come out. I'm going to do the same on the other side. Like I said, we'll get this link out once we get the frame separated a little bit. It's kind of an odd angle. Alright, we got all the bolts out. Now, an extra step for me, because I put a scale exhaust system in here, I have to undo my little wire tie here so that I can get my exhaust free. Not something that you'll have to do if you have one of these, unless you put your own scale exhaust system in there. But we're going to pinch that apart, which I just used a paper clip. I took a paper clip and just kind of made it like an exhaust tie. Alright, so now the frame should separate. There we go. Come on. There we go. Alright, so that's the old piece of plastic. Does not have the perch on there. Whoops. See the difference? So this is the old one. This is the new one. You can see that leaf perch. That's the only difference. But we need it for leaves. So that's got to go in there. And then let's get this part out. Come on. Come on. There you go. All right. Same with this. This is the old one. This is the new one. Which way? Which way? All right, that way. So you can see the only difference, focus, is the leaf perch. Same part, just has a perch on it. And you have to make sure that you put these in the right orientation or your leaf springs will not fit. So that's got to go that way, which this one you can't really mess up, I don't think. But this one you could possibly maybe put it in backwards, so pay attention to that. All right, let's get these links out of the skid plate. Hopefully they're going to come out, or do I have to take the whole frame apart? Hopefully not. I was hoping to do one side then the other. It may not like that. It may not let me do it. Let's see if we can pop that off. Maybe we can get a better angle in there. Boy, that's not the greatest angle to get that. And it may be easier for you guys to just do all 4 leaves at the same time. If that's easier for you, then do it that way. I'm attempting to do the rear and then do the front so I don't have a big old pile of parts, but I may not have that option. I was trying to keep it simple, but I may end up making more work for myself. All right, we got, come on. There we go. Got that link out. Right now, the only wall I'm really hitting is just with this frame rail being in the way of this screw of these bottom links. Take this off. Which, I mean, if we have to do all 4 links at the same time, that's just what we have to do. Like I said, I didn't even bother looking up instructions or anything like that. I just kind of wanted to wing it, see what was possible, see if there was an easier way, or we'll just do it the hard way till we find an easier way. There we go. Yeah. Come on. There we go. All right, and there's that link. Ta-da! All right, so all the rear links are officially out. What do we want to do now? Let's go ahead and put the perches in. I'm guessing because we don't have to change the perches because the perches are already here. So yeah, that should work out fine. We're learning. We're always learning. All right, so now that we've got the rear end bare pretty much, we are going to put the front perch in. And it just kind of nestles its way into the frame rails if you put it in correctly and not backwards. There you go. Like that. Oh, I may have to bend this exhaust in a new direction. Possibly. Oh, it just barely clears. Okay, that's fine. That'll work. So I'm going to use the existing hardware. Like I said, it did come with hardware, but I'm going to use existing hardware until I can't use it anymore. Let's start with you. Put that in there. All these screws are pretty much the same length. It's not a whole... I think all the frame screws are the same length. there forever now. You got one more? No. All right. Oh, yeah, before you go cinching that together, put both pieces of plastic in there so that you're not fighting with that later. Get you in there. Perfect. I'm really hoping I don't just completely murder the performance on this thing. We'll see. I was against leaf springs at first just because FMS's leaf springs are really stiff. Like, there's a lot of tension on here. But I've seen some people crawling with leaf springs from FMS, and they still flex. So we're giving it a shot. It'll be more screen accurate even if it doesn't drive as good. So I'll get some bonus points for that. There's that. Normally I would be putting this together by hand, but my wrist is not the best right now, so we're cutting a couple of corners. I'm just kind of feeling the torque, and as soon as the torque starts to increase, when I know it's getting tight, I just keep my wrist loose so that I don't strip it. Like that. As soon as I start to feel it pull the drill, that's good. Leave it be. This isn't a super powerful drill either, but it can strip stuff out if you're not careful. All right, let's get this side buttoned up. Where do we gotta be? Right there. Come on. Seat in there. One right there. I think my bit is getting worn down. I'm gonna have to get another set of bits when I go to Beat the Creek from Helios. There we go. They've lasted me a really long time so far. It's kind of easy to tell which hardware goes in there, not just by the length, but by the fact that I painted it. I painted all the heads of the hardware. Yep. This one. Where are you at? I know there's more. There has to be more. There we go. I feel like there's less screws in the ones with leaf perches. Maybe. I don't know. Really? There's got to be at least 2 more in there. Unless I dropped them. Did I drop? Oh, yep. I did. Trey caught them for me. Alright, we got that sandwiched in there. I think we need one more. Did I drop 2? That's not the right length. It is painted though. That's not the same color though. I think that goes to the RC 4-wheel drive or something. We got random screws just all over the place. I'm missing 1 screw. Alright, like I said, we'll dig into this hardware bag Do we have a button head screw in there? We do. So that's convenient. I really like that they supply you with hardware. I'm sure it's probably not the, top of the line quality hardware, but it's hardware. They thought ahead that far. Yep, we got button head screws. We got all kinds of screws. I don't even know if we're going to need all these. Hopefully, we don't, and then we'll have spares. Can't have enough spare hardware. Alright, I only need one. I'm only one short. Like I said, we'll repaint this stuff once it's all together. Boy, that is just wearing down. Is this one of my old ones? I think it's one of my old ones. I need a better bit. I'm sure I have more in there somewhere. I have spares of just about everything. We may have to switch over and use one of my regular drivers. Oh, no. Hang on. Yep, we got it too. Yep. Ta-da! That's a sharper. It's a sharper bit, I think. Maybe. We shall see. Alright, so we got the perches done. Now we need to put the leaves on the axle. Got a little bit of wear on there from previous runs. I think we take these off. I'm pretty sure. Is that a 2? Yep. Yeah, we take the link perches. We're going to take those off and put on new leaf U-bolt covers, whatever you want to call them. I don't know. I don't know the right terminology. There's no instructions. Whoops. Losing parts. I actually needed that. I don't need it right now, but I'll need it later. Let's go ahead and just take that pin out. And the sleeve. I'd rather take it out now than have it fall off. Oh, and me lose it. So we'll just take that off for now. There we go. All right, where was I taking these apart? That done. There we go. All right, so these came off. Is it on both sides? Or just the one? I guess, I don't know. All right, so that part's off. I don't even know if you need to take that off. I'm assuming so. Yeah, because the leaf's gonna go right there, so these have to come off. Okay. Then we have our bolts. Let's go ahead and take this side off. We've already committed. I did see one person's video said something about the U-bolts. The bolt pattern is like offset, so we'll try and pay attention to that. We'll see if it's offset and how much that actually matters. Get you off of there. Alright, we got those pieces off now. That can go there. And now we got to figure out where these go. We got the U-bolts in there. Super scale. I think they're steel. I think. Let's put a magnet on them and see if they're steel. Yep. Awesome. Oh. Yep. Steel U-bolts. So that's cool. Those will be pretty strong. Hopefully. Alright, now let's figure out what plastic bits we need. Might need all of them. I don't know. We got... looks like some bushings. Are these labeled? No, they're not. So, I'm assuming, yeah, the U-bolt goes through there, like so. Yeah. Bolts on like that. Ooh, okay. That makes sense. So, can you put these on backwards? You can, in fact, put these on backwards. So now I need to know which side goes where. And there's not a clear indication as to how they go. I guess we'll just pick what we think would work. And if that doesn't work, we'll flip them around the other way. I guess we'll figure it out at some point. I don't know. They look reversible, but it is going to change. I think that's going to change the orientation of the U-bolts. So you can have it this way, but you can also flip it around and go the other way. So that'll move the leaves further inboard. I would think having the leaves further in would make flex better. So we're going to go with that. We're going to go with that logic. You know, moving the leaves further in will let the axle move more. I don't know. It sounds like a good idea. Yeah, that way. So like that. Sure. Sounds like it makes sense, don't it? Now we got to put these things back in. Like I said, we're going to use existing hardware. It looks like it gave us the full set to do this. Like outside of... Ooh, can it not let it go in that way? Surely. Yeah, it works that way. Whoops! Check on stuff. What are we doing? Oh no! Man, that's a shame. That really is. I saw something just earlier this morning said that he went to the hospital. That's freaking nuts, man. That dude's a legend. Whoops. Whoops. Oh, dropping screws. Dropping screws. This is a Rock Hobby chassis. This is the chassis for the FMS Mashigan, for the Atlas, and for the FJ Cruiser. I think those are the only three that use this chassis. I think. Pretty sure. If I'm wrong, let me know though, because like, I think there's only 3 trucks that use this chassis. I think. Well, the Jimny might use it. I had a Jimny, and this frame does look familiar, looks very similar, but the transmission was in a different spot. I don't know. The Jimny might use it too. These pieces on. Yeah, I grew up watching Walker Texas Ranger, man. That was not my favorite show, but I liked seeing him uh, do his spin kicks and stuff. I wonder how old he was. He had to have been in his 70s. Hardware. We got more. Should have two more. There's one. That is not the same bolt. Is that the same bolt? That is the same bolt. There we go. That one. I'm really hoping that I'm putting these on the right way because there's quite a bit of work involved to find out if you did it wrong or not. We won't know until we get the leafs on. Like, it'll actually be on the truck, and then we'll be like, oh, doesn't fit, or oh, that's wrong. And then I have to take everything back apart. Hopefully not. How about this? Which way does this go? Not that way. How about over here? Not that way either. How the heck is that supposed to go on? That way. Okay. Alright, well at least you can't mess that part up. The back side. Thicker side to the outside, I'm guessing. Yeah? No? No. Inside. Thicker side on the inside. Okay, so it goes on like that. And then we need that hardware we're not going to have. So we need to use, not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Those. Little bitties. It's a little bitty countersunk screw, I think, that goes in there. Yeah, those are way too big. Those are too long. So yeah, it's got to be these. Got to be the little bitty countersunk ones. There's only 4, and there's only 4 in here, so that makes sense. Like I said, we're just going to try and use common sense. I'm sure there's instructions like on the website or something. I would think there is. But we're winging it. Come on. Come on, little screws. Man, those things are tiny. Are those 1.5s? Yeah, those are 1.5s. Teeny tiny. Yep, 1.5. I'm going to put those on. That definitely, you're working with 1.5 hardware, you cannot put that in with a drill. You will regret it. And those fit in there perfectly, so those are definitely the right screws. There we go. Do the same thing over here. Whoops. Come on, you. Back on there. Oop. Dropping stuff. Come on. Gonna do this one-handed. Nicely done. Right there. What these pieces of plastics are going to do is give a groove for the U-bolt to set in, so we can put the leaves on. Like I said, we're doing leaf under axle, which so far it looks like you can go either direction as of right now. We might come to a point to where we have to switch something around, because this is the bottom and that's the top. So as of right now, I don't see any difference between there. We do need to tighten that one up more. We got a gap. A little bit of a gap. Cinch that up. There we go. We good? All right. So we got the little plastic sleeves on. These are perches. I'm assuming this is the point of no return. This is what our leaf is going to sit on. So how they probably want you to do this is like that. I'm thinking so. That sits on there, the leaf goes on there, and then the U-bolts go this way. But we're doing leaf under axle, so we need to flip that like that. Is that going to work? Do we have to rotate? What do we got to do? What are we doing wrong here? Like that. Yes. Okay, so yes, you can bolt those underneath. Good. I was hoping we were going to be able to do that. So those will sit like that, which we can't screw that down. It just sits there. So how do we do this now? I guess we put the whole thing together at once. Let's get these U-bolts out. Hopefully we're not messing anything up. I mean, we haven't, destroyed anything yet, but hopefully we don't have to take this all back apart and flip these in a different direction. I am hoping. We'll find out. As far as stiffness on the leaves, I don't know. If I put all of the leaves on there, it's probably going to be ridiculously stiff. But we are doing the rears and we're doing leaf under. So these go this way. Yes. Yes. Go like that. We can definitely give it a shot. Man, I feel like that's just... How many leaves did they give us? There's 2, 3... Oh, wow. Okay, there's quite a bit of leaves. I didn't even realize that. So that's going to be rock hard suspension if we do all of them. So there's 1, there's 2, 3, 4. Right? 4 leaves? Good gosh. Man. I don't know about that. And I'm still not 100% sure how these perches go on. I mean, that's how... Oh, there they are. Okay. All right. So there's these three little plastic bits poking out. They go into these 3 slots like so. Wow, you would think those go all the way through, but they don't. I don't like that. That's going to put a big gap there. That doesn't make any sense. Why aren't those drilled all the way through? Those should definitely be drilled all the way through. Huh. That's weird. So that would sit like that. That bugs the crap out of me, though. Because like that, I don't like that. I think there's supposed to be another leaf on there, which is a little nuts to think about. Yep, there should be another one. Wow, so 5 leaf springs. Good gosh. I may have to file these down a little bit because they're still poking out quite a bit. I don't know. Once we get the U-bolts on, maybe it'll suck it down in there or something. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure how these go either. I'm not sure what that would be used for. Maybe a sway bar or something. I don't know. Like I said, we put it together wrong. We'll find out and figure it out from there. But man, that just feels like that's just really loose. There's not, I mean, there's really not another way to do that though. I really feel like those need to be shorter. So that's going to go on like that. And then the U-bolts go this way through here. Come on. Come on. It's not an exact fit. But that could be because I'm putting it together wrong. Let's see here. Let's just get the U-bolts all the way up. Huh. That's weird. Is it not going to let me do leaf under axle? Are they tapered or something? No, no. Maybe they're different sizes. I don't think so. Oh, they might be different sizes. No. No, there's no way. No way. Definitely not. Alright, so that's the U-bolts pretty much all the way up. This might be a super tight fit. And we still have to figure out the gap. Because there is definitely going to be a gap, I think. Could be wrong. Maybe once I bolt all this together, it just snugs right up. I don't know. That does bug the crap out of me, though. I feel like those holes should definitely be all the way through. We'll put it together without modifying it first, and then if we don't like it, then we'll modify. Give it a squeeze. Here we go. There we go. All right. Got that part done. Yeah, see, there's so much. Let's see if I can show you what I'm talking about here. See that gap? The holes don't go all the way through. There's a gap there. That bugs me. Because even once you tighten these down, that gap isn't going to completely fill up because the holes don't go all the way through. I don't understand that. That's a little weird. Where are we at on time? What's our time? Oh. Shoot, we might only get the rear done at this time. I don't know. That's pretty close to on point. I mean, the gap's not terrible, but it's a gap. If that gap stays there, that's going to bug me. I don't know if I can... No? Man, I almost really just want to modify these right out of the gate. Even if I was doing leaf over axle, I would have the same problem. I mean, it looks like there's a spot to drill through them. We either have to drill through this piece or we have to file down the alignment tabs. Because, like, I can push on that and that gap ain't getting no smaller. I think we should just go ahead and modify it. Because, I mean, as it sits under axle, it's going to look like that. And that's no bueno. That's too loose. That's not going to work. I don't know what the sturdiest option is going to be to drill holes through this and slide it up further, or to file these down so that it fits flush. Because there's about, I do have all the leaps on, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's all the leaps that it comes with. Boy, that just feels odd to have to modify it right out of the gate. Now, like I said, normally everybody else that I've seen do this puts leaf over axle instead of under. But I feel like you would have the same problem even if it was the other way around. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. That's another thing too. I mean, we could do all of this and have leaf under axle and find out that it just sits way too low. Because, I mean, look at that. I mean, that's going to kill our ground clearance. It's absolutely going to murder it. Those lift blocks are way too big. I don't know. There's a lot of thinking process involved in this to do leaf under axle like it is from the factory. Huh. Well, I guess we just make mistakes and learn from them. That's going to be the only way we're going to figure this out. Let's see if I have a drill bit that matches the depth of this. I feel like putting holes in this isn't going to hurt it. There's already holes in it. They're just not all the way through. So if I can put a small drill bit through there, wherever my drill bits are, we might get it. Possibly. Where are my drill bits? Oh, they're around here. Oh, I left them on the table in case I needed them. Me trying to do me a favor and then forgot that I did me a favor. Drill bits. There you go. Alright, now let's see if we can find a drill bit to fit in that. Hopefully. Itty bitty baby drill bit. Is that going to work? It's a little small. And that one's a little big. Alright. We'll go with the slightly smaller ones. Yeah. That'll be fine. Hopefully. Try not to lose any fingers. There we go. All right. No going back now. That just went straight through. All right. That was definitely the easiest modification we could do. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite us. I'm sure somebody who's already put this kit together goes, oh, he drilled the holes, he messed it up. Now it's not going to work. I'm going to get all these U-bolts. These U-bolts spread out once you get them around the axle. Like they like to spread out like that, so you got to like pinch them to get them to go in the holes. There we go. See, I mean that just looks so much better when those plastic tangs, those little alignment markers go through it, because now it's all the way down. Now there's no gap. No gap. None. And that suspension is probably hard as a rock. But it makes me feel better that there's not a gap there. So, all right, let's start putting in the bushings and the U-bolts, or the U-bolt nuts. Those on there. I guess, do those just slide in? Yeah, they just slide in. Not a super tight fit, but it'll do the job. Hopefully they don't fall out while I'm messing with the other side. They're kind of snug in there. And then we got to put our little U-bolt nuts on. They have a nylon locker on the end of them, so we don't need to thread lock it or anything like that. Hopefully. Famous last words. We don't need to thread lock it. We'll see. I'm hoping. Oh man, I wanted to put this the other way. Yeah, take it back off. I want to use that. I'm going to be driving forward more than I'm driving backwards, based on my logic. So I want this little piece of plastic to help guard from hitting these U-bolt nuts, because I don't want them bending or snapping from getting scraped along the rocks. So I'm going to use that. I'm going to spin this around, hopefully. Yeah, we'll spin that around. Ta-da! That wasn't too bad. Not too bad. So yeah, this little piece of plastic will hopefully guard the U-bolt nuts. I hope. We'll see. Like I said, we can get this whole thing together and then find out that it sits way too low. Because, I mean, that's just atrocious ground clearance. That's terrible ground clearance. What we may end up having to do, and it probably won't get done in this video, but we may end up modifying this lift block. Even then, you can only go so low because the threads only go so low on the U-bolts. So I don't know if leaf under axle is even going to be feasible. We're going to keep going. I'm going to commit to this and find out for you guys, and I might make a little short video later telling you don't try and do leaf under axle with this kit, because it's not going to work. But it might. Never know. I haven't seen anybody try to do leaf under axle with this kit. Probably for a reason, and I'm sure we'll learn it. There we go. Is that the right size? That is not the right size. What size do we need? Oh, it's this one. These are tiny, tiny bits of hardware. We're going to tighten this a little bit at a time around all four corners, just because that's how you would do a real U-bolt. And it's a U-bolt, so I mean, might as well do it the right way. Sort of the right way. Yeah, because see, these threads are going to be exposed, and I can already tell you when these things start grinding across rocks and stuff, this is going to not do well. But that's how we learn. I'm probably not going to drive like some crazy hard lines with this. It's mostly going to be kind of a showpiece to putt around with. I'm hoping. I'm snugging these U-bolts up. Trying to tighten them in stages so we don't snap anything. Not feeling a whole lot of resistance yet. Man, if you wanted to soften these leaves up by taking leaves out, you may not be able to do that, honestly, because the threads go just far enough. I feel like the thread should have been longer on these. Quite a bit of work. It's not hard. It's not hard work, but it is time consuming. Alright, I think we're good. Oh my gosh, that is just rock hard suspension right there. Could we put one leaf on and see if it's gonna fit or not? Woo! Man, that's gonna be sitting low. That's gonna be sitting really low. That's gonna be like a low rider. Man, I don't know if we should do leaf under. I don't know. I kind of want to do leaf under now just because I'm curious. Just to see if it's even possible. I don't know. There's a lot of thinking when it comes to doing any kind of custom building or anything like that. There's a lot of sitting here and just looking at it and seeing if that's even something you even want to mess with. Because if that is ride height, I've got that much flex. I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think leaf under axle is going to be feasible. Not with this particular kit. And that's a shame because I wanted it to be screen accurate by having leaf under axle. But man, it just does not look possible. I don't know. I may have to do some research and figure it out. But, I mean, we're going to have a perch there and a shackle there. It might sit okay. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. We're already this far into it. We might as well try. At least see how it sits. But I'm not gotten a whole lot of faith going on here with leaf under axle. It's probably going to end up being leaf over axle. That just you can see how terrible the ground clearance is going to be if I leave it leaf under axle. Right on, man. Yeah, we're going to commit to it and we're going to see. We're going to see if it even fits. I ain't got a whole lot of faith in it. And the reason I don't have a whole lot of faith in it is because of this lift block. The lift block is just making it way too low. But the problem is if I remove material from that lift block, that means this has to go further down and the threads don't go that far. So that's going to be an issue. I don't have anything to make threads. I don't have a tap and die that small that I could actually make threads all the way down. You would need threads to like at least probably about right there. You would need threads to do this correctly. So, I don't know. That kind of bugs me. I don't think I would even want to drive it with these this low. Because, I mean, as soon as that hits a rock, man, that is just, that's going to bend. It's going to bend or it's going to snap a bolt. And it sits too low. Because what part we're going to need is right there. And that's, and what about the perch? The perch will sit on there like that. How much lower is that going to sit? Let's kind of do a mock test. Because, like, I'm thinking if this thing sits like how I think it's going to sit, yeah, you've got that much flex before you hit the frame. I don't know. I guess we'll just waste some time today and install these leaf under axle. I'm at least going to find out from the rear. If the rear won't fit, I know the front won't fit. I just know it because of how low the ground clearance is. So yeah, we'll give it a shot. I think we're already pretty far in the live stream. Just stay tuned to the channel if you want to see how this works or how this pans out, because we're already well over an hour. So use this as a learning experience. I am going to make the bad decisions for you guys so you can learn what not to do, and I will put that in a full-length video at a later date. So thanks for watching, guys. Like and subscribe, all that good jazz. We'll find out what happens soon. I'll make sure to get the information out to you guys to see if leaf under axle is even possible for this kit. And we'll learn together. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. See ya.